Okay, so I wanted to share a video with everyone about APA formatting. This is something that's really frustrating and challenging in Blackboard. It's been this way for a very long time, and it's something that we've just kind of gotten used to deal with. So I'm going to give you guys a couple tips on how to deal with this, especially if you're new to it. I've been using it for years, and it's still frustrating for me. So just hang in there. You know, the more you use it, the easier it gets. I copied and pasted an example of a discussion board, just a quick little thing here. And as you can see, the bullet point is far over. My references have lost that hanging indent, and the formatting just doesn't look how it was when it was in Word. Blackboard adds in kind of its own formatting when you copy and paste into it, so that's why it kind of looks this way. There are a couple ways to get rid of this. So if you're in Word, which is where I recommend doing all of your discussion board posts first to edit and do your grammar checks and make sure your APA is correct in that first. When you're in Word, you do Control C for copy. And then when you come into Blackboard here, you do Control V, and then I'll paste it into here. And this is kind of what you see after I've done that already. So I'm going to do Control A on my keyboard, and that highlights everything here. I'm going to come up to my tools up here and click on this one that kind of looks like an eraser. It says remove formatting. That one right there is going to erase any formatting that's in here. Now be aware that this does erase any formatting. So things like my journal name here, which should be italicized, has lost that. So I have to go back and add that italicized in. Any highlighting or any bullet points have been lost. So I'd have to go back up here and put my bullet point back in to add that back in here. So it is something that, kind of erase everything. So you have to be aware of how to go back and make sure you fix that. There's one other way that I'm going to show you that can help with fixing this formatting issue. If you go back into Word, and I've got just an example Word document here. I've got, references here because I've been adding them in. If you go into Word and you see up at the top of the screen here where you've got this reference section, when you click on this reference section kind of is here. You can insert citations, you can manage sources, and if I click on this, it'll pull up any references that I've got in here. And I just copied one over to this document so that I can give you an example. If I want to add this in at the end of my paper, I click on this bibliography section here and click on references, because that's what we use for APA. And it adds a reference section in here. And you can see kind of it's in its own little box. It has its own separate formatting that is going to format it to the best of Word's ability to do APA formatting. It is not 100% correct, so do not rely on this 100% to make sure that your formatting is correct or that your references are in correct APA format. It doesn't catch all of those little things. If you put it in incorrectly, it's going to add it in incorrectly to your document. So, but this is one way to kind of copy and paste it. So if you highlight this little section, just your reference section here, if I do Control C, I copy it. I'm going to go back over to my discussion board post here, come back down here, give myself some space, and do Control V. It pastes it in. And as you can see, it now has that hanging indent. Because the formatting in that box is a little different than the rest of Word, it does add it back into the discussion board post on Blackboard a little bit more easily. So that is one other way to do it. I do find it a little bit more cumbersome to kind of add your references in that way, but it is one way that it'll make it look pretty. Again, I'm not looking for the references to have that hanging indent. They do have to have all of the correct formatting in terms of periods and commas and italicize, your dates, everything like that has to be correct. Your citations also have to be correct. But in terms of formatting issues, there is some leniency there, and I'm not really grading on that section. I'm really more grading to make sure that you have the content correct and that the rest of your APA is correct, not necessarily the font and the hanging indent. Okay, hopefully that helped a little bit. Let me know if you have any other questions. If it's still not working for you, I'd be happy to get on and chat with you, do a Zoom session or something with you and chat and see if we can help fix that for you. Just let me know. Thanks, guys.